Hello everybody, I am Parent and Town Supervisor Ciaran Hanna. I'm here with our parent and historian Bill Poray. We are in the heart of the village of Fairport, standing right in front of the historic Potter House. This is one of Fairport's most recognizable properties, and we thought we'd give you a little view of what we have here today.
This is a terrific property in our community, so I'm glad we have the opportunity to talk about it. There's a lot of history here. So of course this is known as the Potter Mansion on the Potter grounds, Potter Memorial. It's often associated in 1858. The house is a little older than that. I believe it was probably built in about 1852. Again, the Spencer Philbrick was the first owner. The second owner of the house was a man by the name of Davis Bloomfield. And it was from Bloomfield that the Potters bought the house in the early 1870s. The house, as we look at it, the brick portions are the oldest part of the house. When the house was added to by the Potters in about 1889 or so, anything that you see that is wood frame, wood clapboards, that was added. Originally, the house was of Italianate design. Italianate is usually featuring a square block typically, in this case with an extension that goes off to the east. I do wonder if the actual original part of the house was just the part on the right and the extension, some or all of it, were added not long after. These doors are original to the original structure of the house. So these would date from the early 1850s. Thank goodness they're here. One of the nice things about masonry buildings, brick, stone, otherwise, is they tend to be disrupted less over the decades. This is a designated Fairport Historic Landmark.
So Bill, in the beginning, this of course was built, it was used much more than just as a residence.
Well, it was a residence up until the death of Fred Potter in 1943. Fred Potter was the third generation of these Potters. He willed the grounds and the house to the village of Fairport. And his intent was that they be used as a community center. So starting not long after his death, it became a community center, the building, and the grounds quickly were used as really one of our early parks, along with Parrington Park.
So as part of that, we look at the carriage house here. Can you tell us a little bit about, was that built at the same time as the house, or was it?
Well, there's an 1885 bird's eye view of Fairport I use frequently, and next to the house we see the carriage house. So it was there then, although it was much bigger, even not that many decades ago, when this was used as part of the community center, and it was really a kids' hangout, a kids' activity place. It had wings off to the south of it. Very popular. There's plenty of people that remember it today as the Nook, and it had bands come, it had dance night, it had a lot of activities for teens.
So we're heading down here towards the Lion's Den here, and Chris, thanks for joining us today. What can you tell us about what we are looking at here with the Lion's Den?
For the last 30 or 40 years, it's really been identified as a place for teens to hang out and gathering space for youth activities and creating some supervision opportunities. With the continued renovations and investments over at the community center on Turk Hill Road, we've had to redevelop the identity of this space. So we're excited to share. Over the last few years, we've put some energy into revitalizing the interior of the space with our goal to serve the community as a public meeting space. This is a popular summer camp playground location as well. So we've got about 40 to 50 kids here every day in the summer, and this is their indoor meeting space. You know, inclement weather days, they have lunch in there. We currently have some recreational department programs that take place in the building. And this is the central hub for park use.
When we're talking about using this as a parks facility, it's fun to think about the fact that way back beginning in the 1880s, the Potters made this property available for football games, baseball games, when we had community teams, and there weren't parks yet. There weren't public parks yet.
As it developed, I remember my kids' first Little League practices were right here at Potter Park, and they have soccer, and we've developed into tennis and pickleball and basketball, and so it's amazing how it kind of kept that theme.
With the coming of World War II, Fred Potter made some of his land, actually quite a bit of it, available for Victory Gardens. And when he did that, a lot of people took advantage of it. We have some of the original handwritten records listing the names of the people who had committed for given years to garden with this property.
The community garden is a living document of gardening and evolution. In the past number of years, we have made a number of changes to improve the experience of the gardeners. We continue to rehabilitate the beds. We invest in organic compost and recycling procedures with all of our gardeners. We've almost doubled the number of beds in the last 3 years and created some shared workspace and community gardening space so that our renters can work together and support the garden. Our program has now started to donate food locally so that we can really give back to the community with any surplus that we don't use.
When Fred Potter donated the property through his will after his death in 1943, it became a priority for the community to have a place to honor soldiers and honor those lost. And of course, this was right during World War II. So a memorial was constructed here. So this is really for now 80 years. This is the 80th anniversary of this memorial.
Thank you all for joining us on this as a walk through this little piece of history in our town and our village. It's very interesting to see that history and how it has been a very important gathering place for our community.
Always happy when we can spend some time on one of our terrific historic landmarks, both in the village of Fairport and the town of Farrington.